Everything that I teach about real world performance, the frameworks that I use for sales teams and executives, Carl is already living it floor by floor, rocking his heart-shaped boxers. It's called Dungeon Crawler Carl. If you haven't read it yet, it's about a guy battling monsters in his ex-girlfriend's pink Crocs in an alien death game dungeon broadcast on intergalactic TV. There's a few things that I noticed when I actually read it and dug deeper into it. Underneath all the chaos and the dark humor and the exploding goblins, there's a masterclass in real-world performance and how to level up when everything is working against you. And today I'm going to show you the 3 lessons that Carl teaches that most people never learn, even in years of reading self-help books. Every single floor on the dungeon, Carl is dropped into a situation that he's never seen before. New monsters, new rules, new threats, and he has about 30 seconds to make a decision before something starts trying to kill him. He doesn't have time to do research. He doesn't have time to build out this perfect plan. He moves on incomplete information right now before he dies. And there's a moment in book 1 that I've actually thought about pretty consistently. Carl is standing at the entrance, freezing cold, 1 hour to decide, does he go in or try to survive on the outside with nothing? He doesn't stand there running probability trees. He doesn't stand there and wait for certainty. He acts. That decision defines every floor after that. We have a framework called the law of diminishing intent. It says your intention to act is highest the moment that you create it. Every hour you wait, your odds of following through actually drop exponentially. Most people are waiting for better conditions, better timing, more certainty. The dungeon doesn't give you a better time to act. It gives you this moment. Neither does real life. We just convince ourselves otherwise sometimes. Mordecai, the gruff, exhausted manager to Princess Donut who works with Carl, is always on them because he just acts. He just takes action in a certain situation. And Mordecai is always thinking it's going to get him killed. But instead of waiting, he takes action. He does the things that he feels like is right in the moment to keep them alive. The question isn't whether you're ready. The question is, what are you doing with what you have right now? Lesson 2, know your numbers or the dungeon decides for you. Here is something that doesn't get talked about enough in DCC discussions. Carl knows his stats. He knows his numbers. Every time he levels up, every time he gains a skill, every time he gets a hit, those information boxes pop up in his vision. Strength, agility, cooldown timers, constitution. He checks them consistently. He makes decisions based on them. He knows the gap between where he is and where he's going. In our coaching world, we call these critical success factors, or your CSFs. The dial to reach ratio, the reach to appointment set ratio, your close percentage, your referral rate, all of it. All of sales and really everything in life is a numbers game. It literally doesn't matter what you sell or what industry you're in. It's a numbers game. And the people that win are those that know their numbers and they work them. And here is something that fans of the series will immediately recognize. Princess Donut does not read descriptions before equipping things. She opens a loot box, sees something shiny, and puts it on. And now she has to kill the entire Blood Sultanate royal family on the 9th floor. That is exactly what it looks like when you don't know your numbers. You say yes to the big deal, you sign the contract without actually knowing what that entails or knowing your numbers. You can't expect unless you inspect. If you don't know your real conversion rates right now, not roughly, not approximately, the dungeon makes decisions for you. And the dungeon's not on your side. Now hear me out on this. Lesson 1 and lesson 2, they kind of go against each other, but follow along with this. Lesson 1 is in the moment when you need to take action. Lesson 2 is when you have time to pause and analyze the situation. It's 2 completely different focuses. Lesson 3, unconditional confidence is the only kind that survives. This is the one that hits hardest on the second time listening. Carl is definitely not the most talented crawler in the dungeon. He doesn't have the best build. There are crawlers that's stronger and faster and better equipped. But Carl has a line in his head that keeps coming back over and over and over. And I bet you know what it is. You will not break me. You might hurt me, you might kill me, but you will not break me. That is unconditional confidence. We talk about 3 kinds of confidence. False confidence is performing certainty you don't actually feel. Conditional confidence is feeling confident only when you're doing well. And then there's unconditional confidence. Unconditional confidence means the belief in yourself is not tied to your results, your environment, or what the audience thinks of you. Carl is scared constantly. He fails. He loses people he cares about. And the show, the sadistic intergalactic reality TV game, is specifically designed to break crawlers, not physically, but psychologically as well. But by book 5, I'm not going to spoil it for anyone that hasn't gotten there. Carl isn't just surviving, he's thriving. The dungeon could not break Carl because Carl decided who he was before the dungeon had a chance to decide for him. This is the only kind of confidence that survives contact with real life. Here's the thing that's different about Dungeon Crawler Carl that makes it different than anything else out there. It's not really about the dungeon. It's about a guy who has everything stripped away from him. His home, his world, his choices, his shoes, and decided to be someone worth watching anyway. You're already in your dungeon. You have your floors to clear, bosses that you didn't ask to fight. Carl's 3 rules work here too. Act on what you have right now, know your numbers, and build the type of confidence that doesn't need outside permission to keep going. The dungeon doesn't care that you're not ready. It never did. Neither does your market. And before you close this video, is there something that you've been waiting to act on? Maybe it's making that call. Maybe it's having that conversation. Do it today, not next week, today. Or do you not know your numbers? Don't be like Donut with a loot box. Know what you're committing to. Or where's your confidence still conditional? Where do you still need the floor to be manageable before you believe in yourself? That floor, the one you've been avoiding, that's where the work is. Carl didn't level up by waiting for the dungeon to get easier. He leveled up by deciding what he was going to be and going. Your next floor is waiting. Now, one more thing. If you're not sure which of these is your actual ceiling right now, take the Wheel of Personal Growth Assessment. It's a free diagnostic tool from Southwestern Consulting. Think of it as your stat screen. It maps out where you actually are in every major area of your life, your mindset, your performance, your habits, your relationships. Because before you can clear your next floor, you have to actually know what's holding you back. Links in the description. It's 5 minutes. It's free. And it'll show you something honest where most people take years to figure it out on their own. Take the assessment, then come back. Let's go deeper.